haven't seen, and actually I'm going to be doing 2 videos. And the second one is Abigail, the guardian angel, but I'm going to talk about that in a separate video, but I'm going to go ahead and focus on this story right here, on this one. And this has to do with a patient that came in here about 84 years old. I'm 75. She was about 80, like 83, 84 years old. Anyway, I got a call from the head nurse to see her, so I went in the next day to see her, and we started talking. She had surgery. She had a bad fall, everybody, and she was in pretty bad shape and a lot of pain, so on and so forth. So when I saw her, she complained about her pain. So I consoled with her and I talked to her, and a lot of what I do sometimes is just listen, let them just vent it out, and she did. But she was pretty heavily medicated. So I kept seeing her for the next several days, and mainly that was the discussion. On the 5th day, she was improving quite a bit. Amazing, at her age, she was doing pretty well. And so we started talking about her personally. And I got to know her, but she was talking about her husband. And her husband passed away 6 months before she came to this hospital. So the discussion kind of takes a turn, everybody. It takes, and I have to be honest with you that, when you have seniors come in here, you don't know, is there senility going on here? Is there any sort of Alzheimer's going on here? And so, but here's what she tells me. She tells me that her husband comes to visit her in this hospital. He passed away 6 months before. So I'm thinking back, and I did not confront her. I just listened to her, and I just talked a little bit, and that was the end of our discussion. But what I wanted to do was to find out more. So when I got through talking to her, I went to the nurse's station, and I talked to the head nurse. HIPAA, I can't find out a lot. There's a law. Your privacy is sacred, so I'm very limited in what I can find out. But the one thing I wanted to find out, is there any problem with Alzheimer's, any kind of senility, anything going on? And the head nurse says, no, there's nothing there. Mentally, she's in pretty good shape. She's telling me about her husband visiting her. So, I keep seeing her, and she talks about her husband, and I keep, and I just don't want to confront her. But the next day that I came in, her 2 daughters were there, and also there was a family friend. And we started talking, and I was saying she's doing really well, so on and so forth. She's really improving, so on and so forth. And then the mother, the patient that I was seeing, she said she brings up her husband visiting her. Now I looked to the sisters. The sisters, the 2 daughters that were together there, and I was expecting a certain reaction. It didn't turn out that way at all, everybody. What it turned out was it was like they acknowledged, yeah, it happens. And the family friend who's standing up, yeah, it happens. So I'm taking a step back, and and this seems to be real. And she's talking about it, that he comes sitting in the chair that I'm sitting in, talking to her, visiting her in the chair that I'm sitting in. And so, and we get into it, and the 2 daughters really, they verify that they've only seen it once. They've only seen the instant once, and what they saw was there was a kind of an aura, a kind of a white light, and they knew there was their father, and he was kind of looked like their father as they remember him, but he was kind of transparent. But he sat there in the chair I was sitting in, talking to the patient, talking to them, and they're, this is a true story. So anyway, it was just one of those kind of things that, sometimes things happen in this hospital, and things go on in this hospital, everybody, in every hospital. There are stories to tell that go on. But there seems to be a pattern, and sometimes, people, when they lose a loved one, and they really have a hard time adjusting, so on and so forth, sometimes they dismiss them so bad, so on and so forth, and very rarely do I hear they come and visit them, or they see them, or whatever, and it does happen. There seems to be a pattern here. It does happen. Now, the one thing I've always said to everybody is that everything and anything is possible with God. So many things that go on, and there are forces at play, and we just don't know. But this is one of the cases where she saw her husband, and from what I understand, kind of routinely, sitting in the chair that I was sitting in, talking to her. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to let you, you're going to react to this, but I just found it a very interesting story. But it has happened before. I've had some other patients that said the same thing, In the next video, I'm going to be talking about Abigail, who's the guardian angel. And I'll go ahead and explain about that, but that's a whole nother story there. Kind of similar to this. But let me go and just end it. I appreciate your time for watching this video, and thanks for watching this video. Until the next one. Soon. Thanks again. Appreciate it.